Hi and welcome to Health Talks. Today we're in the kitchen at Trupp's Cooking School in Prahran in Melbourne and I'm with Mel. Hello.
Hi.
And we're talking about quinoa today, not to be confused with
Quinoa. It's quinoa. And
Tell
lots
us.
of people get confused. That's how you pronounce it. Pronounce quinoa.
And where does it come from?
It's a grain.
It's a seed.
A seed.
It's a seed.
Seed, sorry.
It's a seed. No, that's good. That's good. That's what it's all about. It's a seed and it's part of it comes from the Andean region in South America.
Yep.
Most of the quinoa we get in Australia is Bolivian. And now we're trying to source the fair trade because the quinoa industry has gone bananas in South America and there's a lot of quinoa wars. There's a quinoa cartel. What we've also learned is that Australia are now producing their own quinoa. It is a lot more bitter. I don't know if you've had Australian quinoa.
Yeah.
It's a lot more bitter, so always wash your quinoa, wash the Australian quinoa 2 or 3 times, and you'll find it gets quite soapy. And I think that's the sapoin that belongs to the seed. I could have made that up, but it gets a soapy quality. So rinse that out and that'll get rid of the bitterness.
You don't soak yours?
I don't soak mine. Most people do.
Yeah, I soak mine.
I don't. I guess because I use so much of it that I just rinse it really well.
Yep.
And then allow it to dry. So this is a white quinoa. Quinoa comes in red, and there's also a black quinoa, and then it's sold off as a tricolour quinoa, which obviously is a combination of the 3 seeds. So it's important to note that it is a seed, which means it's really alkalising and it doesn't create an acidic response or an inflammatory response. But you love it, don't you?
Oh, I love
Yeah,
it. I have it with everything, for breakfast, lunch or dinner, and in desserts. And it's just so filling, and it's a great alternative to heavy rice or things like that, pasta. It can still fill you up, just adding a spoonful of it to anything.
It is. It's very versatile. I guess from a nutritional perspective, my only concern is having it in too much on a regular basis is that it can be a little bit abrasive on the digestion, which you're probably aware of. So again, as we always say, listen to your body. So here's the quinoa in its raw state. We've cooked a little bit off and I wanted to keep it in the pot because I want to show you a great trick that I learned many years ago when I worked in a Japanese restaurant and wore a kimono every day. That's another story. But how they would finish the rice, and I'm sure they still do in many Japanese households, is to put a tea towel on top of the rice, or in this case on top of the quinoa, just as it's finished the cooking process. And what this does, if you let that rest for about 10, 15, maybe half an hour, 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, the steam absorbs into the tea towel and what you'll be left with is really fluffy rice or quinoa. And that's often the missing link when people say, oh, I'm scared of cooking rice and I'm scared of cooking fish, which is whole other class indeed. So that's a little tip to do with your quinoa. In this case, it's already cooked.
And some people are scared of cooking quinoa because they've never done it before, but it's very similar to rice.
Very similar.
You know, 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of water. Right. It's really, really easy. Don't be afraid of it.
It's absorption method. So I'm going to pass this over to Mel over here. So just spooning it in the bowl. You can serve this little salad, which is a salad of quinoa, mint, peas and sunflower sprouts with some macadamia nuts. Either warm in the autumn as a really hot accompaniment to maybe something slow cooked during winter. And it's spring on the time of this shoot, so this is a little slightly warm spring salad.
Beautiful.
So we've got some white quinoa here. We're going to add some cooked peas, so fresh peas, shelled, cooked. We're going to pop those in there. You can give that a little bit of a stir.
The colours are beautiful.
Yeah. I've got some macadamia nuts here. These ones have come from my environment up in, where do I live? Byron Bay, the Northern Rivers. And we use a lot of macadamia nuts because they're local to our environment. They're really rich in omega-7. So we talk a lot about omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, but macadamia nuts specifically are omega-7. So again, essential fatty acids, hormone regulation, hair, skin, nails, all the good things. I'm going to give them a bash in the mortar and pestle just to break them up, or you can chop them with a sharp knife, but just to give them a little bit more consistency. If you wanted to, or ease of eating I should say, if you wanted to, you could use an almond or another nut. I just like the creaminess of macadamia nuts.
They're one of my favourites.
Wow, they're pretty delicious, aren't they? Okay, so they go in. I've got some activated pepitas here. So these pepitas or pumpkin seeds have been soaked and then dehydrated for about 12 to 24 hours. Gives them that extra vitality. I'm going to put those in. What do you reckon?
Beautiful.
Looking good. Some fresh mint.
Beautiful.
Which we'll just do a little bit of a process too. So just finely cut it, or you can just mince yours, or if you prefer to do it in a food processor, you can. Just fold the leaves over. So the mint and peas are obviously best friends and they go well together.
Besties.
Besties. A little bit of extra alkalinity and really energising. You know, spring is mint, isn't it? It's lemongrass and all those beautiful alkalising. A little bit of ginger, which we've talked about. There's a little bit of peeled ginger here. So just a little bit of piquancy. So that means it's almost like the tart flavour, or just to give it a little bit of that. Oops, sorry, darling. You'll be right. You'll be the queen of quinoa. It's all over you, girlfriend.
Quinoa. It's nice.
I'm sorry. See, this is why we need a Health Talks apron, isn't it?
Totally.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Okay, let me get out of the way. You right there, girl?
I haven't trashed you.
So we've got some sunflower sprouts here.
Beautiful.
Just fold those in. This is the kind of salad that you can make when you get home from work and you're absolutely exhausted and you're like, there's nothing to eat. I'm going to order a pizza.
God forbid.
Or God, I'm going to order a God forbid. This is something, if you've got 20 minutes on your hands, you can just put the quinoa together and hopefully you've got some sprouts and some of these really good quality superfoods in your pantry. I've got black sesame seeds here, just to give it a bit of colour.
And the good thing about this, you could make a massive batch and then have it for lunch the next day. It's so beautiful, and you can have it cold. You can have it cold, and it makes a beautiful cold salad. You could put currants through it as well. I often do it like a sardine dish with currants and pine nuts through this instead of the macadamia nuts. Then as a dressing, you can use your favourite dressing, not too heavy. Or we're just going to use macadamia oil and lemon juice just to, again, bring out, sorry, I'm going to blind Getting a shower here.
I've covered her in quinoa.
A lemon shower.
And now she's going to have a little lemon wash, a lemon balm.
It's good for the skin.
Macadamia nut oil, again, beautiful Northern Rivers macadamia nut oil.
Could you use any oil? Flax?
Yeah, olive oil's beautiful, flax. Maybe not coconut oil because it's a whole different box and dust, but certainly your favourite cold pressed, cold extracted oil. But I'm using maca oil because it goes so beautifully with this. What do you reckon?
Oh
Happy?
My gosh.
Let's go a little plate.
It smells amazing, like the mint and the lemon.
It comes together, doesn't it? Just has
beautiful.
And some tongs, which we'll find over here. Crash bang wallop. Okay.
Beautiful. And I love it. It's so simple. It's just throwing things together. It's not about spending hours in the kitchen chopping, and just whack it in.
Just whack it in. That's our technical term, whack it in.
Whack it in.
But ultimately, you choose the protein that you want to have with this. Now, quinoa has a lot of protein. It's an alkalising seed, but it has a lot of protein, lots of calcium, very energising. But you might like to have, if you eat organic chicken and then some organic chicken with this. I like to have it with salmon.
Yes,
or a piece of grilled ocean trout. Something like that is just gorgeous. We've got some gomasio here, which we've used previously, and that's a Japanese sesame salt. So it's black sesame seed. I'm using the Murray salt to make it up, and a seaweed called dulse. So it's got 3 components.
Can you tell us a little bit about dulse?
Dulse is a seaweed. It's a purple seaweed. And like our other seaweeds, our other sea vegetables, really rich in calcium and iodine and all the trace minerals and very detoxifying.
Beautiful.
So wherever there's seaweed, there's usually a detoxifying process as well.
Gorgeous.
I've got some beautiful micro herbs here, which we can just add to the top, and some shiso leaves, which is another Japanese ingredient, just to give it a little bit of a variety and make it extra pretty.
The purple looks gorgeous in it.
So that's a quick and easy spring salad. Doesn't always have to be for spring. Of quinoa, minted peas. What else do we put in there, girl? Sprouts and sesame seeds.
And macas.
And macadamia nuts, absolutely. Macadamia nuts. Do you think you can make that at home? We'd love to see if you can, and put some pictures up on our Facebook page. And if you're not a cook, then maybe vote on that photo and choose which one you like the best.
And now I'm going to try this one.
Of course you are.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Thanks.